Viewers and listeners, welcome to this episode of the Carbone Lawyers podcast series known as the Law Lab. Viewers, my name's Tony Carbone. I'm the managing partner of Carbone Lawyers. With me today, I've got John Carances, accredited specialist and head of litigation at Carbone Lawyers. Good day, John. How are you?
Hi, Tony. Hi, Sam. Hi, viewers.
And we've got an up-and-coming budding star in the law, does a lot of litigation, and in particular, superannuation, total and permanent disability claims. Samantha McCurdy. G'day, Sam. How are you?
Thanks, Tony. Hi, viewers. How you going?
Viewers, we're going to do an episode which is very important because in most instances when we get people that are injured at work or in a car accident or they sustain a serious injury, say in a supermarket or in occupiers liability type circumstances, 90% plus of the population have got superannuation unless you've got your own self-managed fund. And most of those policies have got total and permanent disability cover. Yes. So please stay tuned for that, because before we do that, John.
Tony, what's in the news?
What isn't there in the news? How's this thing with this COVID? It's blown up again.
In Victoria, Tony, we're the banished state. Queensland, Adelaide, they're all saying do not go to Victoria. Tony, do you live in a cluster?
Actually, believe it or not, I'm right in the thick of it. I feel like I'm in the epicentre. I've got Moreland at one end, I've got Brisbane at the other. I mean, I'm scared to leave the house these days. That's how ridiculous it sounds.
The Keilor family, Tony, the cluster there, that'd be interesting. What's happened there, Tony? It's Northcote, Reservoir, Coburg. They're the places not to go.
Exactly. And Samantha, this whole thing around COVID-19, there's been a lot of work cover claims now.
Absolutely. A lot of accepted work cover claims. People need to definitely bear in mind that they've got an entitlement to claim in the work cover scheme, particularly if they have any injuries arising from this COVID-19.
And in a lot of those instances, you've got people working in supermarkets and those sorts of places.
Absolutely.
They've been exposed to the virus, so they're off work. I had a case recently where a friend was telling me that his daughter contracted in England and she was out of action for 8 weeks, John.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You know, she had flu-like symptoms for 8 weeks. She lost her sense of taste and smell. And she fortunately wasn't struggling with the breathing, which a lot of people do.
Basically, Tony, anyone that catches COVID in the course of work, that's a work cover claim.
Yes.
They should come and see us and we'll help you with your work cover claim.
And Sam, importantly, you've got a lot of people out there that when they've got the virus, they should be self-isolating.
Totally.
The most important thing.
If you recall, we had that case of that couple that came back from a ski lodge in America.
Oh, yes, the Alps, yes.
Yeah, the Alps. And they then went off to some golf course on the Mornington Peninsula.
Down in Sorrento. And caused the Sorrento cluster.
And they went to a cocktail party, right, for Timber Top, their school.
Yes.
And what happened? They contaminated who knows how many people. Well, they've been sued.
That's right. People need to be very mindful of the fact that it is highly, highly contagious. And not only that, but it's most important, even if you've got the slightest symptom, just self-isolate. 14 days, because the domino effect.
Stay away from people.
Exactly.
Okay. So employers can be sued and you as an individual can be sued.
Oh, yes.
Correct.
If you know or should have known that you've got the virus and should be self-isolating.
Tony, you're knowingly passing on a disease.
Of course you are. Look, it's really sad, viewers, because at the end of the day, we all thought we were going to get back to some sort of normal lifestyle. Now they've shut down camping grounds. You can't take holidays.
No.
The motels are going to close down again, the pubs and clubs and restaurants. It's an absolute disaster.
The Melbourne CBD is totally shut, Tony.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Look, we've just got to take precautions because at the end of the day, I mean, the bigger picture is what counts. Yes. And there's been enough damage to the individuals and the employers. I mean, it's just crazy.
Are you going to join this class action against China, Tony? $500 billion.
I'm not going to put up my hand at this stage because I think anyone that speaks out against them seems to go missing. We've got this doctor from an Australian citizen who's been in one of their jails since December last year. No one can see him. They won't let anyone see him. The embassy.
I'm not sure about how the rule of law applies there. But
I don't think they apply any rules of law.
Doesn't seem that way.
Anyway, there's another interesting case I want to touch on just briefly, John.
Yes.
Being a police informer is a pretty dangerous occupation, isn't it?
Lethal, Tony. I think you've got literally a short lifespan. I wouldn't advise anyone to be a police informer as per what happened with the Hodgsons.
Look, the reality is this, Samantha, when it becomes common knowledge that you're informing on the crooks, and more often than not, a lot of the informers are crooks themselves,
That's the reality.
or disgraced
Involved.
lawyers, or
Involved.
disgraced lawyers.
Yes.
The real problem is that the so-called criminal elements in our society really despise anyone that's lagging on them, don't they, John?
Oh yes, and fortunately, this Royal Commission on the Lawyer X has exposed such unethical behaviour. And Tony, all I can say is, being a police informer, well, we saw what happened with the Hodgsons.
Yeah, and
The
just
children sued under the Wrongs Act, claimed for negligence against the Victoria Police.
they got a six-figure sum. We don't know what the figure
They
is,
did.
but yeah.
6-figure payout, Tony, for the severe shock that they suffered
Yes.
as a result of the death of finding their parents shot in their home in East Kew.
And Sam, they'd have to show that they got a more than 10% psychiatric impairment.
Absolutely.
Under
and
the
no
Wrongs
doubt.
Act.
And
Yes.
in
No
that
doubt.
case, Tony, they would have to demonstrate that the Victoria Police knew that they were in danger and did not act reasonably enough to protect them.
Oh, look, once it became common knowledge, once it was leaked that they were informers, their life was, just about done.
In danger.
Absolutely.
Totally.
All right, Sam, let's get to this episode of Total and Permanent Disability. What does it actually mean when we talk about TPD?
Okay, so essentially, all of us, we all get contributions into our superannuation accounts, and most people don't actually know this, but all of our superannuation policies or memberships have insurance attached to those policies.
So it's anyone that's working.
Anyone that's working,
Anyone that's
Correct.
working has
Yep.
what's called a TPD.
TPD, total
benefit.
and permanent disability benefit attached to their
There's another
policy.
benefit also, isn't there?
Yeah, income protection
And
and the life insurance, the death
the
benefit
death
as
benefit.
well.
Yes.
But we don't want to access the death benefit.
Yeah, no, we don't want to harp on that today.
So
Exactly.
you've been injured. Tell us what
Yeah.
happens.
So if you've been injured, you can then become entitled to claim on your policy through your superannuation. There's usually about a 3 to 6 month waiting period, but if all of your treaters are of the opinion that you'd be unlikely to return to work in accordance with your education, training and experience, you've got an entitlement. And at the end of the day, 90% of Australians have got this total and permanent disability cover on their policies.
So, John...
and why not claim on it? You're paying the premiums.
Sam and John, let's get this right so that the viewers can understand.
Yeah.
So, we're all employed, and the employers have to make the contributions of 9.5% at the moment
That's
Super,
right.
yes.
of their wages, correct?
That's right.
We're not talking about that, are we?
No. This is
Okay.
totally separate to your account balance.
This is
So, viewers,
an extra insurance.
your contributions are your contributions. You're going to get them sooner or later, okay? Now, if you satisfy the definition under your policy, you're entitled to the insurance component.
Correct.
That's the TPD we're talking about.
That's the TPD.
And usually when that gets accepted, you're entitled to get your hands on the contributions, correct?
Exactly.
Yes.
Yep. And you would be seeking financial advice with respect to the withdrawal. But at the end of the day, that insurance component, that's yours.
Viewers, you must understand it's very important that the injury can happen in any circumstances.
Exactly.
Doesn't have to happen at work. A lot of times it does happen at work, but it can happen on the street. It can happen when you're at home. It can happen anywhere. As long as that injury satisfies a definition, you're entitled to claim under the TPD insurance.
And there's subtle differences in these definitions. There's a couple of really harsh ones.
Yeah.
But the majority have got that tailing provision that talks about taking into account age, education, experience.
Yep. Education, training and experience is the bulk permanent incapacity definition. So essentially, they would look at all of your vocational history,
Yep.
and your treating practitioners would have to be of the opinion that based on these injuries, as John said, however they may have been sustained, you'd be unlikely ever to return in that capacity.
Physical and psychological.
Both physical and psychological, one or the other, or combined. It doesn't
And
matter.
guys, would it surprise you if I told you that the life insurance industry is worth $230 billion?
It wouldn't surprise me at all, Tony. They've got money to pay out.
And 17,000 total and permanent disability claims are lodged each year. And believe it or not, the average payout's $100,000, viewers. And listen to this statistic, John, 88% are accepted. And of the 12% are unaccepted, most of them end up in litigation anyway.
Exactly.
Don't they?
Yes. Exactly right. And I think around 90% on
91%
average
of mental health.
are mental health.
Yeah.
And Tony, we have to also be aware and understand, viewers, that this insurance component is on top of what you may receive in your work cover or even
Yes.
transport accident claim. It's separate insurance
Or occupies liability.
and occupies liability. So it's in addition to any other claim you have. It's not as if you get this and it extinguishes anything. No.
So, Manford, there's been a lot of cases in this area of total and permanent disability claims, but the one I want to touch on today, and it's very interesting, is a matter of Hanover Life and Australasia Limited and Jones. It's a New South Wales Court of Appeal decision, John.
Yes.
Do you want to give us the facts?
Yeah, absolutely. So this particular plaintiff, he was injured at work as a roof plumber in 2011. He was young. He is about in his mid-30s at the time. He lodged a claim with CBUS, who was his fund at the time, and it was rejected on the basis that they felt as we all know, these claims are at the insurer's discretion. And based on the evidence before them, they believe that the plaintiff, yes, wasn't able to go back to work in that trade as a plumber, but was able to go back with some sort of, a retraining in some other way, that he had some other physical or mental capacity to go back in some other form of employment.
Just on that, Sam and John, look, the reality is this. You're a lawyer. I can't see you becoming a motor mechanic / roof plumber.
No.
And by the same token, you can't get a roof plumber / mechanic becoming a lawyer.
Well, that's exactly
So a lot
right.
of common sense has got to prevail.
Exactly. And the insurer decided to appeal that decision. They didn't agree with the judge. The judge said we order that the insurer pay out the policy, which was $100,000 plus interest, and was satisfied that the worker actually fit the TPD definition in accordance with that policy.
Sam,
And that was appealed.
I want to stop you there for a minute. John, Sam, most of the funds have got definitions that are worker friendly, for want of a better word.
Yep.
But there's a couple of policies out there that are absolutely disastrous.
Yep. There's a lot of junk policies out there, Tony.
And the truth of the matter is, these clients or prospective clients out there should be looking at their policies to see whether their definition is one of these so-called junk policies.
It's very
Because
important.
if it is, change it over.
Very, very
Don't
important.
get stuck with something that's going to hurt you long term.
Yeah, the catch is that a lot of these policies seem attractive because the insurance amount, the
It's
sum
huge.
insured is huge. And you think, oh, this is great. If anything should happen, I will be set. My children will be set. Not a problem.
What are those policies? You know, the ones where they look at your daily living and
It's activities. A lot of them have activities of daily living definitions, which is that
John,
you need to be
horrendous.
very careful. They're junk policies. You won't be able to claim
hey,
on
John,
them.
they look at how long you can stand, sit, how far you can walk.
Definition is
toileting.
That's
that
insane.
it's that complex, Tony, that you're
Yeah.
always going to fall over.
Yeah. Oh, look, the other thing too, John, is that, and Sam, when you're dealing with the construction industry, they've got even better coverage. They've got IncoLink as well, haven't they?
CBUS and IncoLink.
Yeah, yeah. And the good thing about IncoLink is most workers have got protection, that is, their payments under the work cover system are 80% after 12 weeks, but they get the top up under the various awards.
Yes.
But with IncoLink, they can get the next 12 months paid as well.
That's right.
Exactly. Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of people don't know that. So they need to
No.
get the advice, don't they?
Absolutely. You need to make sure that you get the proper advice in accordance with your policy. We can read you through it and ensure that you're actually aware of the applicable definition, because if you have a definition that's likely that you won't be able to claim on, at the end of the day, you're paying premiums for
For nothing.
something that
For nothing.
you're
Yeah.
wasting your money.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, viewers, Carbone Lawyers are expert in the area of total and permanent disablement claims. Contact Samantha at our office for some advice. If you've been injured and you have this superannuation policy and you don't know what to do, we're here to help.
Absolutely.
And, John, what's the number?
1-800-369-888.
And, Sam, if you can't ring the number, just go to the website, correct?
Absolutely. Go to the website.
We've got the info number. Yeah.
You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Follow all of our social media channels as well.
Anyway, John, this ended up in the Court of Appeal. What happened there?
The appeal was eventually it was dismissed. They completely disagreed. So it actually criticised the insurer for how they were applying the education, training and experience branch of the definition in the policy. So it wasn't enough to say that a job which a person may be able to perform without further education, training or experience is not necessarily one for which that person is reasonably fitted by education, training or experience. There's a difference there.
So, Sam, they looked at what the realistic job opportunities
Exactly. They looked
he
at
could do.
at the vocational history. I mean, this poor gentleman, he left school at the age of 16. He then proceeded to complete the roofing, the plumbing apprenticeship, and only worked in that field.
In labouring, heavy manual type work.
Laborious work.
In theory, he may have had a work capacity, but in reality,
Nah.
the court realised that no. In reality, in practice, he doesn't have any work capacity.
Exactly.
Well, basically what they hold was the insurer must consider jobs that the plaintiff is fitted to rather than jobs that they have the
Yeah.
physical
Exactly.
and mental capacity to perform.
Fitted
You've
by
got-
education, training, and
yes.
experience, and that's the poignant part of that
It's
appeal.
like me trying to get John to go and fix up the engine on a car. It's
No,
like,
it
won't
just wouldn't happen. Even though
I'll
you
look
have,
at it and say hello.
Yeah.
we had a funny experience at school. We dismantled the teacher's car.
Yes.
We had 4 bolts left over. He had,
Yeah.
he had to send it off to a mechanic to fix it.
Tony,
One of the guys said he was good at cars. He
wouldn't
was
have
that
a
good he
clue
left
how to
4
do that.
bolts when we put it together.
Bolt. If you have the physical and mental capacity to do something else, that's not enough. And that's what this appeal tells us, that it needs to be fitted to you in accordance with your vocational history, not just that you've got the physical and mental
Yes,
capacity
yes.
to be retrained or do something else.
We've come to the end of the episode, guys. John, as usual, thanks for coming
Yes,
on board.
thanks, Tony. Thank you, Sam.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
John.
viewers.
Thanks for
Tony.
coming on board. Did you
No
enjoy
worries.
it?
I did. Pleasure.
Viewers, thanks for watching and listening. Go to our social media platforms. Stay tuned for future episodes, and please always remember to stay safe.
Don't say